I know that there'd be a textbook answer, but what makes a good director? What makes someone a great content creator when they are making their film, TV, whatever?
You have to have like this insatiable like thirst, if that's a word. Like you have to be interested in a lot of things.
True.
You have to be interested in makeup, fashion, the latest cameras. You have to be interested in the human condition. You have to be, mostly deeply invested in the human condition, whether you're doing documentary or fiction. Because whether it's a performance or it's social actors, real people from your real life, you need to be able to connect with them. You need to make people comfortable. Because if you're working with real life people in a documentary, they need to entrust you with their image, with their voice, with everything, and be comfortable enough to go there and tell you their stories. If you're working with actors or presenters, you don't want them to be in their own heads too much. You don't want them to be self-conscious. You want to build their confidence, you know? So you're sort of facilitating a process where you are really invested in bringing out the best in people.
And there's a technical side and then there's the creative side, you know, because now you're going to speak with your DOP on what camera you're going to use, what lenses you're going to use, that's fine. But there's also a creative side on how you're going to shoot what you're shooting. How do you balance the technical and the creative?
For me, it's about, like, I build relationships way before we get on set. So we're constantly talking up and down, sharing references, and then saying, okay, if this is the standard or the convention, how do we push it to the next limit? Or how do we invite ourselves into the process and make this our own, you know? But I think having open communication, by the time we get on sets, we're on the same page, you know, or to say, how did we do it last time? How can we do it this time that's different, you know? But I think people being comfortable enough to share their ideas, knowing that I won't necessarily shoot those ideas down. So you have to manage your ego as well.
Okay.
Because it's not that you know everything as much as you're the head of all departments, so to speak. You know, someone might come and say, hey, what about this? How about if we do it like that? Without being disrespectful and overstepping their boundaries, you can take those ideas into consideration and they'll make the work much richer. But if your ego is not, you know, if you haven't reined it in, then it's going to be a problem because it seems like those people are challenging you. It's about bringing out the best in everyone because then they make you look good.
I hear you. And how do you handle crew where you might feel that this person actually doesn't respect me as a director? This person doesn't see my vision. How do you handle that kind of challenge?
Call them out immediately. You know, bullies, when you call them out, they become little children. It's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes they can see that everybody else on set is on board, so they don't have a choice. And when you see that there's some poison, like, get rid of it immediately because it's gonna spread. By the time you get to the end of the shoot, it's not pleasant for anyone. And I'm always very cognizant of the fact that as much as I can, I want people to have a positive experience on set and be like, oh, that was pleasant. You know, I don't know if it's our history of apartheid or whatever oppression, but people feel like when they're at work, there must be strife and shouting and whatever. No, you know, in order to bring out the best in them, they need to be comfortable, you know. So I root out the rot very early.
Okay.
Don't let it go far.
I hear you. Man, absolutely incredible. I think I've had an incredible conversation. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I really hope that this inspires. And that it inspires someone who we didn't even think of. You know, someone who's sitting and chilling at gas, who's probably not, who's like, what's my next move? Or someone who would want to do this, but doesn't know how to get into this industry, you know? And in fact, maybe I think I actually want to ask that, like, what would your advice be on a person just trying to get their foot into this industry? Because for me, coming in, it always seemed like something that seemed so far. until you're actually in it. But to get the foot in, you know, it's very tough. How did you get your foot into the door, into this industry?
Think through entrepreneurship. You know,
Yeah.
because you do get people who get in through networks. Networks is network, net worth, right? I agree with that completely. But I'm from Ligazi. I didn't know anyone at SABC or anywhere, you know. So work ethic, self-belief, and sometimes entrepreneurship, because also like these call outs like like NFVF directing program or script writing program or competitions, pitching, that kind of thing. Sometimes that's how you get in, you know, and sometimes you get in, you know, by networking or applying for certain things. But self-belief and work ethic, because unfortunately they always look at the previous thing that you did. You know, and I suppose relationship building as well.
Yeah.
Because that's how they'll remember you.
True.
Like, let's call her again, or maybe not.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, entrepreneurship gave me a lot of agency.
You know what I didn't ask you about is your script writing. You've actually done a lot of script writing. I sometimes forget because I know you as a director, and mainly as a director. Please tell me about your career as a script writer, how it's even helped you in the directing field as well.
Oh, it's helped me tremendously. I actually started at Scandal, writing there in the writer's room. And
What year was this?
This was like 2012, 11, somewhere there.
Okay.
You know, and I just wanted to learn how to entertain millions of people at the same time. In fact, that's what the producer said. She's like, CK, you want to educate, right? Here, you can have a classroom of millions. You know,
Nice.
So that's how I got into it. It was a competition. Again, they put a call out there, like they wanted directors actually.
Okay.
And then the lady said to me, your motivation letter is the best I've ever seen in my life. I'm framing it.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the writer's room? And I was like, this is so much fun, you know? And then I got into storylining as well.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that now I am a story development consultant and a script editor.
Okay.
That's what I've been going to Italy for, to study or cement my knowledge of story development at the Torino Story Lab.
Oh, wow.
And the European process is also very interesting, like quite provocative and open-ended, more than prescriptive, which is what we try to do here. And then a lot of our films, a lot of our TV series, they just don't go into development for like long enough, because we're in a hurry to churn out content and the scripts are not great. So there's a huge gap there, you know. So as a director, I'm like, wha, on the script.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm like, no, but where's this beat? Where's this turning point? This doesn't make sense. And sometimes I have to add those things, you know, as I go. So it's very helpful. It's like you're writing the story in your head, kind of like editing, you know?
Do you prefer to be given the story, or do you prefer to write the story yourself?
I prefer to write the story myself.
Is it so?
Yeah. Yeah, it needs to come to me, do you know? But I don't write as much as I used to. I had to say no to so many things in order to make space for directing. And that's what I meant about saying no. Like even now, years later, people will say, CK, do you want to write this? I'm like, no, guys, I don't do that anymore. You know, because there's something else I'm really focusing on, which is my first love, which is directing, hands down.
Is it?
There's no comparison.